have a friend that recently lost a child to cancer, a daughter, and I have 2 daughters now. So when she lost her daughter, it was extremely, I hate to use the word triggering, but it definitely triggered me, and I went through a big wave of depression and sadness and refeeling all of those feelings and everything. And it's one of those things, I'm almost 7 years out from having given birth to my son and losing him, but experiencing that loss by proxy to somebody else that I know, it was just a reminder of this thing that had happened. And I think just communicating with her, and telling her you're not alone and you have people around you to support you. I think the temptation is when you have experienced loss to have a comparison, or to share your story. But it's not about you. When somebody else is going through loss, it's not about my story. It's about them and supporting them.
Yes.
You can approach their story from a place of empathy, not sympathy, empathy, but like, I'm here to support you. And then you can imagine like how you can actually support them because you've been through an experience. Mm-hmm. So just bringing her food and things like that, but not playing that comparison game, because loss is loss.
It's different, but different for each person.
It is different, but it's also the same. We experience it differently.
Experience it differently, that's what I meant, yeah.
We do experience it differently, but it's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no comparison. There's no one is greater than the other. It's all loss. Mm-hmm.
So yes. I want to ask you, I know we have gone over, but it's fine. This is going to be 2 parts, no problem. We have been talking about your experience. Mm-hmm. Can you share how your husband, or were you aware of how he was feeling?
Mm-hmm. It was really hard. We experienced things differently. And while it was a physical thing for me, he seemed really disconnected from the experience, although he held our son and he was a part of making that decision for our child. I think as men that go through that experience often feel disconnected, because it's a lot of focus is put on the women. The women that are giving birth, they are the ones that need to be held and supported and lifted up, but I think the men need it just as much. I got to take time off of work, and my husband did too, but not as much as I did, for grieving and bereavement. And I just remember a friend reaching out and saying, I'm really concerned about Jim, who's my husband, and he's just really disconnected, and I had to really kind of pull myself out of my grief in order to support him as best as I could, and talk with him and be open with him about it, and ask him to be the same, because when it comes to emotional healing, I'm typically the stronger of us. I think that might be true for a lot of women, to be honest with you, but it was really important for us to experience things together, and to heal together, because it affected us both and not just me. So we went and we took a trip, things like that, spent time together that removed us from our home, where we were reminded and had closed the door to the room where I'd been painting the nursery, just because it was a constant reminder of this thing that we had lost. So we needed to get some, like, just different energy, I think. So, but
you're still in the same home?
No, we're not. We've moved. Okay. But that was our first home, and it was really hard leaving that home, because we had planted a tree in remembrance of our son. So when I wrote a letter to the new owner saying, just so you know, this tree was planted in memory of our son. If you would please take really good care of it, I would be honored, So, and I have driven by, and the tree is still there, so thank God. But yeah, now we live in a different home now, in a tiny little community.
So I'm going to ask you a different question.
Sure.
You have 2 beautiful girls now.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous. Love them. How was the process of thinking about getting pregnant again?
It took me a while. It was about almost 3 years then before, well, it was 2.5 years before we became pregnant again, and it would definitely needed to have some separation there, so that I could be clear and be intentional with my attachment to my second child. And I call her my second child. She's not my firstborn. She's my second. But when people are like, "Oh, you only have 2 girls," and I often say, "No, I actually have 3 children. But one of them is in heaven." And people are often taken back by that. But that's me acknowledging that he's not dismissed. He is my child as well. And honoring him in that way. And so I had to have some separation, but I also got to celebrate knowing that there were things that I could do, like having the cerclage. There were things that I could do to help ensure a better experience than that one. And I hate to seem callous, but I developed a sense of humor about it now too. So having the cerclage, and then doing things like I went to a blessing way, which is like a celebration of the upcoming birth of your child, and often the connection that we have with women during a blessing way can actually send a woman into labor. Mm-hmm. So you want to do it like 39 weeks, not 24. So, but experiencing that and having really an amazing support system around me that knew my story and being honest with them about my fears was really empowering too, and recognizing that my second-born was going to be a rainbow baby, which is a baby that's born after a loss of a previous child. So it just puts a different spin on that. There's definitely, we were really scared, and until that cerclage was inserted, I think it was at 17 weeks, we were terrified. And I don't think we told very many people. I think we told only our close family. And then after that, I think we felt a little more assured to, sorry, my tummy is grumbling. Felt a little more assured to, share that we were pregnant. But I think that's why a lot of people do wait to share that they're expecting. And I know it's so exciting when you're like, I'm 9 weeks pregnant. I've been pregnant for 3 months already, or whatever, to, want to share that joy. And I understand the tentativeness, but I think it's important to share when you're ready to share that you're pregnant, and allow people to celebrate with you, because those people, when you are, should you ever, God forbid, go through that same sort of experience, those people will be there to support you on the other side of it too. So it's important to have community around you and be able to share what stage in life you're going through, because the people around you want to support you no matter what.
Thank you so much, Rochelle.
Thank you, Aazam.
It is a difficult story, and I really appreciate you coming and your willingness to share. Now, if any of you out there are hearing this story, and you have a story you would like to share, contact me at Aazam Irilian at healtheheart.com, and let's chat a bit and see how you can heal yourself, heal others, and empower and inspire others in the process as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.